The year is October 2018, and the black conservatives are catching fire. Donald Trump is in his first term as the president, and black conservatives are blowing up all over social media. Anthony Brian Logan, Candace Owens, and of course, Brandon Tatum. These were the big three amongst all black conservative content creators, and people started investing in them. One of the groups that started this was Turning Point USA. Now, Turning Point USA had a conference called the Young Black Leadership Summit in October 2018. And one of the people that was going to be invited to this was another black conservative by the name of Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus has some interesting views as it is. Like, he doesn't believe in the African slave trade. He thinks that black Americans are native to the Americas. Hannibal was black. I mean, he just has some really interesting ideologies. But one of the mistakes that he made, according to the black conservatives, was his criticisms and harsh takes on the state of Israel and Semitism as a whole. Once it was found out that Hotep Jesus basically talked down on Israel, Brandon Tatum came out and said, "We would still love to have you here, but we can't." And so basically Brandon Tatum was the person that pointed out that Hotep Jesus could not be at the conference. And from then, people could say that the beef between Brandon Tatum and Hotep Jesus would be getting worse. But stick with me. We're going to come back to that. That's why we're now in 2025, literally almost 7 years from the first fallout between Brandon Tatum and Hotep Jesus, when Brandon Tatum makes a very controversial statement when he's interviewing Prime Minister Netanyahu.
In Israel, if you actually talk to the majority of Christians, talk to them, you'll see what they say. They say Israel is the only place where we're respected and protected.
And I can attest to that as a Christian who went to Israel. I spent 2 weeks there with the church, and we had an incredible time. We had only one incident where a small child spit on one of the pastors, and immediately after, there was an adult that came by and said, "That's not a representation of who we are. You know, we love you guys. You guys are always welcome here." And I have to say, no adults gave us any grief. We had no issues whatsoever in our experience there. It was actually an amazing experience.
Now, he's saying this, and basically he believes that he's making a statement. He's talking about a child that comes and, spits on one of the pastors. But other than that, he had a great time, okay? But then this information comes out.
This is actually one of the funniest stories that I've seen all week, okay? So this guy is a YouTuber who never used to talk about the Israeli regime, like literally not at all. And then out of nowhere, like a month ago, he started doing Zionist propaganda. And it's really weird. It happened to coincide around the same time that it was revealed that the Israeli regime was spending hundreds of millions of dollars on Hasbara, on influencers, and in the media, like Google, how they spent $50 million there in order to try to change the narrative, because people in the West, especially in America, not only oppose the genocide that the regime is carrying out in Gaza, but they're starting to have an unfavorable view of in general. The left is already gone. Even the libs, the Democrats, they're gone. They're losing the Republicans. And that's not an easy thing to do, because a lot of Republicans are brainwashed from a very young age because of evangelical dispensationalism to support the nation state of Israel. So this guy's a Christian, and clearly I can't prove that he was totally paid off to do this, so I won't say that. Okay, so what's the funny part? The funny part is most Christians don't know that they're hated. Like, literally hated. Hate Christians. And they will often, it's a known thing, Christians when they are there. They laugh at Christians. They laugh at us for being really stupid and uneducated and blah, blah, blah. So he's doing propaganda trying to get Christians back on his side. That's why he's here, to do propaganda on this guy's show. And listen to what he says.
Israel is the only place where we're respected and protected.
I went to Israel. I spent 2 weeks there with the church, and we had an incredible time. We had only one incident where a small child pastors.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. He's there trying to help him. He's trying to help with the propaganda. He's like, listen, I only got spit on once. Hey, Officer Tatum, you weren't supposed to say that. That's an off-camera statement. Right-wing Christians, let me know. Are you falling for this?
So now we hear what the young lady is saying. She's implicating or implying that this is a common practice when Christians go to Israel, that they face these sorts of things. Now, again, this is her opinion. It cannot be quantified, but she said, hey, Israelites don't really respect our like Christians, okay? But then some of the clapbacks, because Brandon Tatum as a black person was defending Israel, remember some of the white conservatives believe the opposite about Israel, okay? And that is exactly why you might see Netanyahu going to these podcast interviews and basically trying to restore Israel's image, because a lot of people, even including Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, people like Myron from Fresh and Fit, they have a problem with how Israel is handling the Palestine situation. And so now Brandon Tatum is coming out and saying, I stand with Israel. And so what happened is he started getting a whole bunch of racist comments underneath his post. Again, remember, Brandon Tatum is the one that typically talks about black dysfunction and, how blacks are the real racists against whites. I mean, he says a whole bunch of stuff, as some people may call it a level of bootlicking, depending on who you are, okay? But then there was a person that came and said something very racially motivated to Brandon Tatum, and that is this guy, Dan Bilzerian. Now, Dan Bilzerian is a very popular influencer. He's had some issues with alleged scamming and things like that. But look at what Dan Bilzerian says. Cheering for unalive children isn't cool, you dumb. And then he says, monkey. Okay? Now, Brandon Tatum responds, look at this clown. They blew up an empty building and this little wussy's calling me a monkey for supporting it. A little dude who's been a fraud his entire life calling names. Stop it. Now, again, look at Brandon Tatum's energy towards him. He's addressing Dan, but he's not really addressing Dan. I mean, Dan is calling him all kind of names, right? I mean, and many other whites are calling him names. Rewind. But let's go back to the situation with Hotep Jesus. Now, remember, Hotep Jesus and Brandon Tatum would encounter each other at least one more time online. Now, I don't know all of the story, what beefs that they had. They would come together on the stream and debate the Ahmaud Arbery case, all right? Now, typically, what Brandon Tatum does is whenever a black person is unalived by the police, Brandon Tatum, being a former cop, will take the police aside, especially if the person is black. It doesn't matter. He'll find a way, all right? Hotep Jesus felt that the killing of Ahmaud Arbery was wrong, and so did I. And even I, at the time, called out Brandon Tatum for this myself. Okay? Now, another issue must have happened behind the scenes, and Brandon Tatum was on a live stream on the debate, and things got heated. Now, this is how Brandon Tatum, when he feels like he's being disrespected by blacks, here's his response.
Is that black? I told you. Everybody on your live stream know you's a. And when I see you, I'm whooping your ass. Everybody got your live stream. You want to be hood? You want to be hood? You on the phone talking to me and you call me and saying you apologize? Yeah.
Never apologize.
You apologize?
I never
You
apologize.
didn't apologize. My wife listened to you.
I never apologized. What I said was what I said.
Now, again, he's talking to this dude. I mean, he's from Dallas, Fort Worth, that whole, like, hey, Brandon Tatum is dealing with, Hotep Jesus, like you a B. I'll pull up on you. And hey, I don't think that Brandon Tatum no scary dude. He's a cop formerly. He not no coward. And let me just tell you this. I don't dislike Brandon as a person. Brandon Tatum, I don't hate him. I've talked to Brandon before. I've interviewed him before. And this is one of the reasons why I never really wanted to come out against Brandon Tatum, because I don't really want to be like that. But Brandon is just doing too much. You know what I mean? He's lost. All right. And he lost his way a long time ago. I can understand you're frustrated because of what you saw coming up in Dallas, Fort Worth in the black community. I get it. But to go and do too much like this, it don't make no sense. Now, he's talking to another black man, Hotep Jesus, and about his wife, all right? My wife. Now, this is Brandon Tatum's wife, okay? Now, Brandon Tatum, this is a picture at a Turning Point event. This is his wife. She has a MAGA card in her hand. His wife is Caucasian. I believe his first baby mama is Caucasian. So Brandon Tatum has a baby by a white woman, and he's married to one. But he's mentioning his white wife while he's calling another black man, you a B, you the N-word. I mean, the commentary is so bad that we have to bleep it, okay? That is his attitude towards black people, but you did not see that same aggression towards Dan Bazarian, who called him the N-word. He did not say anything like that. Now, can we say it's 7 years and he's grown from that? Possibly. But we do see that Brandon Tatum, when it comes to black people, he can turn up. When the white guys is in front of him, are talking to him, he don't got no smoke. And people, listen to this, these are former supporters, are saying what about Brandon when they seen this video? Common chimp out. Someone bring a kid from that particular country in the Middle East to spit on him to calm him down. Yikes, I hope this is old. No wonder why he couldn't make it as a police officer. To be honest, it wasn't that he couldn't make it as a police officer. He's getting paid millions of dollars to do what he's doing now, so what's the point of being a cop when you can do this? Aggression for black words, but love for them people spit. I mean, and that's what I'm talking about, right? When it comes to, you know, the Jewish or the white community, you know, you can basically be on point. And when it comes to blacks, the community that you're from, you can say whatever you want to say. Look what Michael says. They're really all the same. Reparation to Africa for all of them. So now you've been defending, you know, black dysfunction all this time. And now the whites are telling you that, hey, you need to go back to Africa like everybody else. They will all chimp out if you scratch the surface. Violence is always the way to go for them. So who is them? So to them, now I'm gonna be honest. I hope he's not white, because if he is, I mean, ain't nobody more. I mean, we could argue who's the most violent in the world, but okay. But you see what they're saying, right? Look at this. You're a female, you stupid primate. That's what he's saying. He tags the officer Tatum. You can't control your emotions. I think we need to put you in a cage for a while. This is what they're saying. That guy is such a loser. Look at the hood come out of him. Guy literally never did anything of note. Failed at the NFL, DI police officer, total loser. Now again, these are people that are talking about, he's not saying anything about white people. All he did was defend Israel in their case, and they're talking about him now as a DI hire, and he's a black conservative. The hood that Brandon hates so much finally came out. The usual suspects, black fatigues at an all-time high. Look at the white people talking about this. All right. Now, again, this is important for people to know how it is that, you know, when you start talking down on your own group on the behalf of white people or anybody else, that nobody respected. I'm here to tell you the truth. I've talked to blacks about this. I've witnessed it myself. I could have made the same mistake myself before I was in the knowledge of what I know now. And now that I know that, look, it ain't worth it. Okay. Every group builds, defines, okay, by uplifting their own community and making other people cover ground. The only leverage that blacks have is making other people cover ground to defend the development that blacks have and the unity you have. The moment you think you're going to go somewhere else, all right, and then do something that's out of character for your white fan base, because see, here in the black community, it's more accepting of me to have a different point of view. And we could do that for a video or for a take, and nobody's gonna come to my Twitter and all of that and start calling me all these names, because hey, I'm still in the community, right? I just got a different opinion than you. Now it might go on and off for a little bit, but then over time that can be forgiven. They're not gonna forget us. You stand with Israel for a lot of the hard whites that are conservatives. No, now all of a sudden they place you're no longer the token, you know, the good Negro anymore. Now you over there with the rest of the people. And I think it's unfair to say that Brandon Tatum is a pookie. I think it's unfair to say that he's a complete loser. I mean, I don't think that at all. I mean, I disagree with his positionings. But now they're putting Brandon Tatum, a man who was a police officer. From what I understand, the guy's married, he has a kid, and you're equating him to a thug. But now that's the problem when you go out here and you deal with these people like that. That's how they treat you. They trying to, as my DC folks say, they trying to carry him. All right. And this is what all blacks got to understand. You got to build your own stuff we got to build our own stuff in our own community. I wish I would have knew this earlier, because nobody is going to give it to you. You're not going to go over there and chase some clout and chase it with the whites. They're not going to respect you. Not like that. Okay? They respect everybody who make them cover ground and defend their territory. That's why people respect Russia. Russia make people cover ground. China make people cover ground. Right? And what does that mean? Cover ground. That means the United States has to spend more money every year to just keep up with Russia. Poland got to spend a lot of money every year to keep up with Russia. All right? The UK got to keep innovating. They got to divert their attention from other stuff to keep up with Russia, to keep up with China, to keep up with some of these global powers that's coming up. That's covering ground. And that's why people respect the Chinese. They ain't got to like them, but you got to respect that. Now, but when you don't make people have cover ground, they don't respect you. Oh, Brandon Tatum, we got him. He wanted to be with us so bad. Don't make no sense. They don't respect that. And you think you getting somewhere because they're giving you a few dollars. Yeah, somebody can give you a few dollars, a few coins here and there. Yeah, no problem. You can get millions, but you don't own nothing. Your community don't own nothing. See, you're as an individual. See, you know, when you're dealing with, let's say like some of the, I would say the Indians in Uganda or the Indians in anywhere, right? Filipinos, they got a community behind them. You can't beat a community behind them. That's hard to beat the community behind them because it's not just one person. So, but if you are somebody and you got a lot of money and you just by yourself, yeah, you ain't got no community to support you because your money don't come from your people. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy LCD Jackson back at it again. Another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We out.